I'm tired. I'm so tired of getting up here and offering condolences to the devastated families that are out there. I'm so tired of the, I'm sorry, I'm tired of the moments of silence. Enough. There's 50 senators right now who refuse to vote on H.R. 8, which is a background check rule that the House passed a couple of years ago. It's been sitting there for 2 years. And there's a reason they won't vote on it, to hold on to power. So I ask you, Mitch McConnell, I ask all of you senators who refuse to do anything about the violence and school shootings and supermarket shootings, I ask you, are you going to put your own desire for power ahead of the lives of our children and our elderly and our churchgoers? Because that's what it looks like.
What happened yesterday was sickening, and you know, obviously everybody sends their prayers and condolences to the families of those kids. But, you know, at some point, that does get tiring of, you know, going through the same process and the same result keeps happening over and over again.
We're talking about our kids not being safe to go to school, and our government is still not implementing sensible gun laws. This isn't about taking people's rights away from bearing arms. This is about putting sensible gun laws in so this doesn't happen again. We cannot continue to make the same mistakes. We cannot continue to allow these things to happen in our country, and nothing is being done with it for money, for profit.
I want every person here, every person listening to this, to think about your own child or grandchild or mother or father or sister, brother. How would you feel if this happened to you today? We can't get numb to this. We can't sit here and just read about it and go, well, let's have a moment of silence. Yeah, go Dubs. We are being held hostage by 50 senators in Washington who refuse to even put it to a vote, despite what we, the American people, want. They won't vote on it because they want to hold on to their own power. It's pathetic. I've had enough.
The powerful words across the world of sports and, of course, well beyond. And like everyone, we all have so much in our hearts, and we've invited Lisa Salters to join us tonight as well to share some thoughts. Lisa, you're the mom of a 9-year-old, and so we just wondered what your emotions are as you've watched all this over the last 24 hours.
Yeah, Granny, and if you consider my blended family, add in 3 more, so in total 4 elementary school-age boys, and I've been thinking a lot about them today, all the what-ifs that we've all been thinking. What if it was them? What if it was their school? And I got to admit, I've been struggling today. It's been really hard to focus, to concentrate. I've been consumed by sadness. And I was curious, are the players and the coaches who are expected to go out there and perform tonight, have they felt any of the same thing? I asked Jason Tatum at shoot-around this morning how he's able to compartmentalize, to focus. And he said, yes, it's been tough. He said, yes, Texas was on his mind, heavy on his mind last night, heavy on his mind this morning. But they have to go out there and they have to play ball. And then Jason said something that really resonated with me. He said, you know,
okay.
He said, we're living in scary times. It's scary because we send our kids to school and we do it knowing that they might not be safe.
Terrifying thought that all of us have gone through. All of us are parents as we sit here. But Jalen, what thoughts do you have tonight?
I'm uniquely positioned here because not only am I a parent, but I'm the founder of a school. And I hear a lot of conversations being had on this topic. And the first thing I want to say is teachers are the most overworked, underpaid asset we have in society. I don't want them in the classrooms have to worry about legislating guns for themselves or for anyone else. This is why it's so very important to vote, like Steve Kerr just said, because Congress has to focus on gun safety. This isn't about gun control. And here's a bullet that a lot of people, no pun intended, I want to make sure I put out there. Each of these mass shootings in the United States of America, for the most part, are by an AR-15 automatic assault weapon, which should be banned as well. So there are a few things that need to happen in order for us to hopefully get some gun safety in our country. And I'm tired of all of these incidents continuing to happen, but we pay lip service, but the action doesn't follow the lip service.
Michael?
I'm the father of an elementary school son for another couple of weeks until he graduates from 8th grade. I'm consumed by anger. Sadness yesterday, anger today. And I live in Washington, D.C. And we're talking about the Senate, and Steve Kerr's anger resonated with me. The United States Senate is behaving with unbelievable cowardice. That's the only way I can say it. They're cowards. This is gutless to hide behind doctrine. Any doctrine. When you see children year after year after year after year after year being killed, and to hide behind anything is cowardly. And that is what I'm dealing with mostly as we try to figure out what is it we do. Where can we put pressure on before we get to the ballot box? Well, we can absolutely exert some leverage. But what can we do before then? We have to be heard.
Stephen A.
I too have two daughters, elementary school level. I was on the phone today with one official, and put this in its proper perspective. They were talking about how they have ballistic shields in an elementary school. That's what they're talking about in the year 2022. And we have politicians on Capitol Hill who literally resemble indentured servants to lobbyists, particularly the NRA. Whatever money they want to throw at you, whatever level of influence they want to propel you to exercise in their favor, they do. Well, what does that mean? That means the politicians are in it for themselves at the expense of American citizens. These are the kind of conversations that we have to have. We understand that there's going to be violence, unfortunately. There's going to be crazy behavior, unfortunately. The kind of reprehensible, unconscionable things that we have seen. Unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, this is not the first time. Sandy Hook, 10 years ago, 28 people died. People were killed. Colorado, Minnesota, various other places throughout this nation. We've seen mass shootings. We lament it. We understand what needs to be done. But we got elected officials that won't do anything. Why aren't you doing anything? Because you act like petulant children. You talk about one another like dogs, and then expect us to believe that you can get together and negotiate and work things out for the betterment of this nation when you don't give a damn about the nation at all. You got 435 representatives in the U.S. House of Congress. You got 100 senators, 50 Democrats, 2 independents who caucus with the Democrats, and 50 Republican senators. Somehow, some way, this can't become law where you got background checks to make sure you can keep the AR-15 rifles out of the hands of children. Because somehow, some way, you're using that nugget that someone may want. You're trying to throw other things into the equation. You can't reach an accord, and then you go in front of the cameras, get networks to buy into you, making you believe y'all can't come to an accord because it's his fault, and you're talking about one another, and nothing gets done. They have sold out America. They have sold us down the river. There's an election coming November 8th of 2022. Hundreds of houses are up to provoke change, and some Senate seats as well. Get all of them out, all of them, because they resemble indentured servants to lobbyists. They have sold us out. Treat them like you treat sellouts to this country. That's what they are.
And Greeny, when Stephen A. says children, that's actually who it is. 70% of these mass shootings are by individuals 18 years of age or younger. 70%, each of them with an AR-15 weapon.
Lisa, do you have a final thought?
We're angry. We're sad. But I think we also feel a lot of guilt too, don't we? Because we're up here, they're down there. We have the greatest jobs in the world. And I've spent all day asking myself, why am I here having fun? And those parents are there getting ready to bury their kids.
I think you hear the whole range of emotion that we have here. 10 years ago, I had elementary school age children in Westport, Connecticut, which is only about a half hour away from Newtown, Connecticut, at the exact time of the Sandy Hook tragedies. And I will admit, if you had told me then that 10 years later, not only would things not have changed substantially, but would in fact be worse, that we'd be living in a country where this year we have had well over 200 mass shootings already, and we have had far fewer than 200 days